this week has revealed that gambling addiction is at an all-time high. It's estimated that up to 1 million women in the UK are at risk.
Yes, well, we're joined now by Lisa Walker, whose addiction spiralled so badly out of control that she was left homeless and bankrupt. Good morning to you, Lisa. Thank you so much for joining us today. So this, as you've said, impacted your life in such a huge way. How did you initially get into gambling?
So I initially got into gambling when I was about 8 years old, just betting for 2p's and pennies, playing cards with my family. Nothing sinister at that time because I was so young, but quite quickly, sort of when I was 18, I went to a casino and I sort of walked in and I really sort of got the buzz, and I really enjoyed sort of having a bet, but it was always in control. Mm-hmm. I was always up until the age of about 29.
Lisa, I think as kids we've all been in the penny slots. You know, I know in particular at Blackpool Pleasure Beach you have the kind of the 2p sliders,
and the arcades,
kind of thing. Yeah. And you know the Grand National. Oh, have a pound on the Grand National. Is that how this can snowball? Is this how it's where it starts and how it can get out of control?
Well, for me, it got out of control from a huge win that I had when I was 29. I won over £127,000 on one game of poker. Wow. And I think from that day on, my gambling was totally out of control. And I always say to people, you know, if you can just do £1 on the Grand National or £5 a week on a football bet and it's totally in control, that's fine. We're trying to get to the people that lose track of time, lose money, keeping it a secret from people. And women's gambling has just escalated so much in the last few years.
Yeah, it really has. So you say you had that big win in 2001 and that changed everything. So what happened off of the back of that win for you and your life?
So off the back of that win, I started gambling. Instead of gambling 20 quid, I was gambling £50, £100. And then I wasn't getting the buzz that I needed, so it escalated. I then ended up, when my children were 10 and 11, unfortunately, I lost my house and I ended up homeless. And it was just such the stick, you know, I felt so ashamed as a woman with this awful gambling addiction. And even when I went up to my local council and said that, you know, I'd lost my house, they actually said that they'd wished I'd been an alcoholic or drug addict because they would know where to signpost me, but nobody knew what to do with me as a compulsive gambler. And I just felt so ashamed, and I just want to break that stigma that anyone suffering out there, any women that are suffering, there's so much now, there's so many support groups, which we could talk about in a minute.
And you can get through it. I think that's the important story here. So...
Yeah, it is. And Lisa, your wedding day was a real turning point. Kind of, you saw the light at the end of the tunnel after, on your wedding day, you spent, I think it was a payday loan of £2,000 and you left your wedding party, you went downstairs in the casino, you played the slots, lost it all, and you were missing for more than 6 hours, right, on your wedding day?
Yeah, so I got married 4 years ago in Las Vegas. And unfortunately, you know, being in Las Vegas, the gambling city, you know, gambling capital city of the world, I did leave all my wedding guests and went back to my hotel and continued to gamble till 6 a.m. And I lost the £2,000 from a payday loan. And it was when I got back to England, I actually borrowed the £2,000 off my son, which I'd never ever done before. I'd never borrowed any money off him before. And I gambled it in 35 minutes on the Fobbty machines. And that day, I remember sitting in my car and just thinking, God, please, someone help me. Yeah. Please, I need help. And I reached out to Gamblers Anonymous, and thank goodness I got the support I needed, and my recovery really took off.
So you've sort of taken this into your own hands, and I'm obviously really pleased for you that you're at the other side. You're now a counsellor yourself. What advice would you give to those that are struggling and that perhaps are in the same boat that you were in?
For anybody struggling with a gambling addiction, most of us keep pretty secret. And I would say just having that conversation with somebody, or if you're an affected other and you think that my partner or my husband or son or daughter's got a problem, just having that, is everything all right? If you're spending more time on your mobile phone or wherever you gamble, are you losing track of time? Are you spending more money that you can afford to lose? You're keeping things secret from people, then get the help you need. There is some fantastic websites out there, which I can tell you about if you want. Perhaps we can put it on, your website. But please don't suffer in silence. And look, I've changed my life around. I was homeless and I had nothing through gambling. It took everything away from me.
Lisa, I'm so sorry to cut you. We're going to put all of your tips on our app because we have to make this weather. But thank you so much for sharing that this morning with us. Thank you.
Thank you.